If I had to go back and buy this all over again, if I had to go spend my money on it again, I would definitely. So you're always scrolling, along on social media or wherever, and you see this advertisement of the Raven, and you see the guy, he's going with his hands and he's doing all this and he's cutting and he's slicing beets and he's turning his hand like this and doing all these gestures. And it's like he's just the future, right? Well, I'm here to tell you first, to give you the real deal, that's the magic of TV. That's not actually what you'll be doing in the studio, because if I started doing that, it really wouldn't make sense in the context. But it looks good on TV, I will say that. But all that said, the touchscreen, which is the centerpiece of what most people are probably looking to get this for, is, I'm just gonna keep it a buck, in my opinion, is the gimmick part of it. Because out of 2 years of owning it, I can say that I probably only used the touchscreen about 5% of the time. I don't even use the built-in software. I used it, I've tried to build it into my workflow, but it just never landed, because in my brain, I am a mouse and keyboard guy. You know what I'm saying? So it never really lands with me. My brain always defaults back to the mouse when it comes to doing things, because I always found it frustrating trying to reach up and turn knobs and do different things like that with the touchscreen, and it never feels as natural as using a mouse, because that's my framework that I grew up in. Maybe if you grow up in the framework where you're used to using iPads and things like that.
What's a computer?
Or you're touch based on Windows, this might make sense to you, but it never really landed for me. The times that I actually really use the touchscreen is when I typically have clients in the room, because and specifically new clients, because I'm trying to impress the client. That's the big space. It's like, oh, they're in here, let me touch it and do something to kind of make them think, oh my God, this is amazing. What is that thing you got? Because it sparks conversation, it sparks questions. They pull out their phone, they're trying to show other people what I'm doing, and that inadvertently triggers other people calling me and hitting me up for work, because they see the cool factor of what I'm doing. But day to day, when nobody else is in the room and it's just me sitting in here, I'm not using the touchscreen. Just gonna keep it a buck with you. Now, the other main caveat to this particular desk is the desk itself. And there is actually little or no desk room on this desk. You can't put a MIDI controller on here. There's only a few like little mini microcontrollers that will actually fit on the desk comfortably, but really the only room you have on the desk is for your mouse and trackpad, and everything else is kind of optional. I was able to fit my PreSonus fader port on there and my monitor station, but stay tuned for that, because there's a reason there's another reason that I want to tell you guys about with this monitor station. That is another issue, and I want you to watch to the end for that. But I was able to get this on there, and I used that more for the tactile feel of the faders, even though they have like a built-in digital mixer that you can use with the Slate software. I tried doing it, it just doesn't work as intuitively, or it doesn't feel as natural as touching some faders does. And so that's something to be mindful of. Now, some other caveats with the desk is the fact that it does not have any rack space. So if you have rack equipment, outboard gear, the desk as it comes shipped, there's nowhere to put that rack gear. And again, this is $3,000 of your money, and you won't have anywhere to rack anything up. The $400 desk that you get from Guitar Center has 4 rack spaces in it. This has nothing. And I get why they designed it that way, because they're trying to be compact, ergonomic, and all those things like that. And where do you put racks on something like this? But they do have the optional sidecar that you can buy for it, but that's an additional $600, $500-600. And you're talking about if you want to get 2 of them to kind of make the pair match and make it look so it doesn't look awkward, then you're talking about another $1,000 to $1,200 that you're going to add to the price. So now we're at probably $4,500 with tax and stuff. Maybe, depending on if you're getting it shipped, maybe 5 racks. But I didn't get the sidecars. I found my own sound sidecars on the Facebook market, and I paid, these are 19U racks, that I found, and I only paid like $75 a piece for these things, and they worked out great for what I use, and I think the look of it looks absolutely amazing. Now, another problem with the desk that I want to point out is, and I talked about this earlier, and I said you guys want to stay tuned, is in this space that they have for the monitor controller. Now, Slate made what they call the Slate control years ago, and they put a slot in here for the Slate control for you to put a monitor controller that they make in there, and then they discontinued it. So now all of these units have space for the Slate control, and there's nowhere to put it. And so it leaves this little, they give you this little cover thing that you can put there, but it just looks tacky without it. And so I was able to get my monitor station on here for monitor control, but there's not another monitor controller on the market that will fit in that gap. So you just are kind of left with this weird kind of space. And I had to kind of just pull the opening up and run my cables down under it. And it's just weird. It's not the best, most ideal situation or the cleanest, but it works for what I do. Now, after listening to all that, you probably feel a little sour about it, and you probably might not want to spend your money on it after that. And that's your choice if that's the case, if that's how you hear it. But I would say this, if I had to go back and buy this all over again, if I had to go spend my money on it again, I would definitely 100% buy it again. No cap, none of that. I would spend the money again, even if it was $1,000 more than what it is. I still would have bought it. I still would have paid $4,000 or $5,000 for it, because what I bought it for. I bought it initially for the look. I did not buy it for the functionality of the touchscreen. When I initially saw it, I didn't even know it was a touchscreen. I just thought it looked so dope, and I wanted that look in my studio. So I know a lot of other Slate digital owners that have had this, station or had the Raven or any iteration of it will probably tell you the same thing, that, you buy this for the look and feel. That's 90% of it. But that's a good thing, because it adds to the vibe of the space. It fits in this space, and it makes it look good, and it creates a creative environment for my clients to come in and we work, and they're always impressed when they walk in the room, and they always tell others because they've never seen anything that looks like this. So it's always super attractive. I'm not dissatisfied with my purchase. I definitely would recommend it to anyone who's interested in buying it, but I would give them the caveats that I've given you guys in this video. The touchscreen is a gimmick, just my opinion. My honest opinion. If you're a Slate user and you are actively using the touchscreen and it is blowing you away in your workflow 10x when you bought it, please let me know down in the comments, because I think you're dope for that. It just didn't land for me, but that doesn't mean that I hate the unit. I absolutely do not hate the unit. I absolutely love it and would buy it again. Don't buy it for the touchscreen. That's just my suggestion. Buy it for the look and feel that you want for your particular space, because at the end of the day, this is, for me, functional furniture. Now, if you want to know how I created this super vibey space for my control room, and you're interested in that to see how I actually created this whole space, make sure you check this video over here, and I'll talk to you guys over there. I'm out. Holla at your boy.